Hello, and welcome to episode 33 of Let's Talk Immigration. Oh, hold on a second. Okay. Hello, and welcome to episode 33 of Let's Talk Immigration. I don't have a lot to present today, so I'm really hopeful that we'll have some great questions. I do have one question that someone asked me on Telegram that I'm going to expand upon. So if you want to ask a question, go to YouTube or Facebook. I think there's a Telegram group also for this, and it'll appear here, and I can put it up on the screen, and I will answer your question. Okay. I appreciate questions. Good questions are important. First thing I want to talk about, though, is this question that I got somewhere on Telegram or something, or I saw it in a WhatsApp group, where someone said, hey, my CEAC status case updated date changed. Does that mean that there's progress on the case? And, that's interesting because I've never really talked about this on the show, and I wanted to explain what's going on there. So whenever a consular officer or probably even an intern at an embassy touches the file, it says the case created date changes, not case created, sorry. Case updated date changes. That does not mean that anything happened to the file. In fact, you can trigger that date to change yourself just by sending an email to the embassy and saying, I'm talking to cases that are in AP that are refused at the State Department. Like you've already had the interview and it says refused. And you can actually trigger that yourself just by sending an email to the embassy. When they open that email, it's going to say case updated or whatever on that day that they open that email. That doesn't mean there's any progress with your case. I think reading things into updates from that little field probably not ideal. I wish that the CEAC status page actually provided useful information, but generally speaking, it doesn't. It's just, everybody knows this. It says at NVC for cases before they get to the embassy. Half of those cases aren't at NVC either. Not half, fifth. They're at KCC because they're diversity visas. Okay. And then they say add NVC, and then it says ready, and then it says refused, which doesn't make sense. Before it says issued. And then sometimes it goes from refused, ready, back to issued. It's just not a helpful website. It says to check your status, but it doesn't really give you your status, does it? So anyway, I'm not a fan of the CEAC website, CEAC status web page. Yeah. So I was able to answer that question. I'm excited about that. Okay, so let me skip to questions, and hopefully we'll have a whole bunch of questions today. We had a question submitted before we started that says, good luck, plaintiff. I'm curious why the government didn't appeal the Gomez case in 2021, but instead waited for the good luck case and appealed them both at the same time. Is there a coincidence or part of a plan? Interesting fact, first, I will say, the Trump administration did file an appeal of the original Gomez order, not the summary judgment order, but the injunctive relief order from September of 2020, but they dropped that appeal. Okay, so the Biden administration decided to appeal the final judgment in the Gomez case. And I think that they were tied when they decided to make that decision. They kept kicking this decision off as long as they could, and they were facing a deadline. They had to get permission from the Solicitor General, Elizabeth Perlager, I think is her name. So I don't know exactly what the strategy was. I think that they had not decided for sure if they were going to appeal the Gomez order. because they had so many people that had to be involved in that decision, including the Solicitor General, not just the State Department and the Department of Justice. So I'm curious too, but I don't know the answer. If the Gomez case had been appealed in 2021, most of the DV 2021 winners would not have participated in the lawsuit at that time. Most of the DV 2021 winners did not participate in the lawsuit. The Good Luck lawsuit had 11,000 families as plaintiffs. So you had over, 70,000 DV selectees and their families who did not participate in a lawsuit for 2021. If you're saying fewer people would have participated in Good Luck, I would agree with that. But then also their journeys would be over now, right? Right now their journeys continue. They may still get visas. So I don't know, speculating about what could have been, it doesn't change it, but that's interesting. Okay. Brahim says hello. Hello, Brahim. Homer says hello. Hello. James says good evening. It does not feel like evening here because the sun is still in the sky, as it is in many places, because today is the solstice, the longest day of the year. Okay. Papa says, hi, Morrison, can we know about DV 2020, 2021, the situation? Okay. Well, Papa, the situation is slightly different for 2020 to 2021. But if the question is, what is the update with the Good Luck appeal before the Circuit Court of Appeals for the District Court of Columbia? The 3-judge panel has not yet issued their opinion, and we are still waiting on that. And we do not know when that will be. Okay, so I'm skipping the questions that are the same questions. How you doing, Chief? I'm not your chief, but I'm doing great. Thank you. Rasul says, any chance of visa bulletin advancement for F2B cases in current fiscal year? Rasul, I hope so, but I have no way to predict the visa bulletin at all. Homer says, there was something on my mind. Was there any settlement in government side or us before we go to appeal court? Good luck, plaintiff. There were no settlement negotiations between the government and Good Luck attorneys with respect to Good Luck before we went to appeal. No. In fact, they left us in the dark that they were even appealing the order, just like they left the court in the dark. And we didn't know that they were filing the appeal to the last minute. Okay. Brahim says there is chance. You're a Good Luck plaintiff, right? Yep. It says right there, Good Luck plaintiff. There is a chance. There is a chance of what? Is there a chance that we will beat the Biden administration's appeal and win summary judgment? Yes, there is a good chance of that, but it takes time. Okay. Okay says, but if you were selected but didn't have your interview and you check your visa status, but keep telling you invalid case number. I need more information. I need to know what fiscal year you were selected. If you were a 2020 or 2021 selectee and that happens, that is because of a glitch in the system that the State Department has promised that they will fix. And actually, I've done a Freedom of Information Act request and got documents that support that they have done a fix for this. And once we actually beat the appeal and win summary judgment, those cases will appear in CEAC again. And CEAC is only the forward-facing, client-facing website. It's not the actual database. The database cases are there. If you're a DV 2024 selectee, it's a different situation, or 23. So Omar says, and until now, we didn't make a current in the visa bulletin for fiscal year 23. Is there anything related with DV cases that government making themselves ready? Omar, I feel like I almost understand your question, but I don't. I do not know what motivates the State Department to make determinations about what they put in the visa bulletin. I'm not a whisperer. That I don't know anybody at the State Department. I don't know the answer to anything about what causes the visa bulletin to say what it says. Modism says, we are very tired of this long wait on psychological level in the first place. I understand, Modism. Just hang in there. James asked, how long would this appeal takes good luck? Now, James, we've talked about this before. You know that I've told you this before, that federal judges do not have deadlines, and we do not know how long an order will take until it is issued, okay? And we're going to be patient because we want them to do the best job that they can and issue the order that is the most just, not the quickest one. The quickest one is not good for us, okay? The quickest one is not good for us ever, okay? What's best for us is a well-reasoned order that upholds all of Judge Mehta and Judge Chutkan's determinations in their orders at the district court, and that you can't produce a well-reasoned order like that deals with all the government's arguments quickly, right? So especially when you're taking into account the hundreds of other cases that are before the Circuit Court of Appeals. So we don't know the answer to that question. Bamba says, about DV 2021, please help DV 2021. Well, Bamba, I don't know where you've been the last couple of years, but I've kind of been involved in that, okay? At this point, we're at a point where there's nothing that we can do except for wait for the opinion from the Circuit Court of Appeals. And I'm assuming you're a good luck plaintiff, or you're eligible for a Ray visa, or you would know that your journey is over, right? Your DV 2021 journey is only continuing if you're a good luck plaintiff, or you are waiting for an interview for one of the embassies that was itemized in the Ray order. Amr says, hi, sir. Can you give us some positivity because we are desperate about the appeal decision? That's not what I'm good at. Okay. I'm kind of I'm not a spiritual advisor. I'm an attorney. Like, they train us to argue. So I'm not the best person to go into your mind and make you happy and feel better. Okay. I would say that most of the people in America and maybe the world, I don't know, are watching what's going on with this little submarine in the North Atlantic Ocean. And no matter how bad your life is and how bad it is that you're waiting on this appeal, or what's going on in your family or with work or whatever, you're not trapped in a submarine that's 2 miles underwater where nobody knows where you are. So I think we all have reasons to be grateful, even when things look really, really bad. And I don't think we should be desperate. Okay. So Bouquet says, 2020 DV, I tried checking my visa status, but I keep telling me invalid case number. What can I do to my visa status? Before then, when I checked, I used to see my last updated time status. Okay. So I've answered this a little bit earlier. I've shared information on this to our DV 2020 clients, which you may not be. You may be a Gomez class member that's not one of our clients. But basically, there was a glitch in the software, because normally at the end of the fiscal year, that's the end of the fiscal year. It was a little different for 2020 and 2021 because of our victories before the courts. So what they've done is they've gone in and done a fix that will show up if we beat the appeal and they go to implement the Gomez order. If they go to implement the Gomez order, those cases that currently show invalid, I did the math once. I think it's like 5% of the cases of the DV 2020 selectees that we represent, which is about 1,000 that haven't got visas. It was about 5% of those. So it's probably 5% of the general public of all the selectees, I guess. So you're not alone with this situation, but also we've been assured by the government attorneys that it's been fixed. They've given a declaration to the court saying it's been fixed. And then I filed a Freedom of Information Act request, and I sued the State Department when they didn't answer it right away. And we got production of the records where they show emails back and forth where they are fixing this problem. So I think the problem has been fixed, and you should not have anxiety about invalid case number. That's not your worry right now. Your worry is, hey, let's beat this appeal. Okay. Jane says, will there be another appeal if we win this one? Good luck. Okay. No matter. Okay. First of all, I'm glad you said this, James. There are about 6 issues for good luck, and then there's a few other issues between the other lawsuits, like Go and Gomez. And so there are multiple combinations that could come out in this appeal opinion. It won't be one piece of paper that says, well, you win or you lose. It'll be like, on this issue, you're right. On this issue, you're right. On this issue, you're wrong, maybe, If either parties, either the plaintiffs or the government defendants, are not happy with the outcome of the order, they can ask for there's 2 steps. They can ask for the full circuit, meaning all the judges in the DC circuit, to vote on it. And then the second thing they can do is they can ask for the Supreme Court to look at the case. That's called a petition for certiorari or cert petition. The Supreme Court looks at very few cases, and even fewer recently than ever before, like 1% or something. So it is unlikely that the Supreme Court would hear this case if it were appealed to the Supreme Court, right? If it were appealed to the Supreme Court and they did want to hear the case, that would be unwelcome, in that it would be further delay and leave everybody in limbo for a year or 2 more, and nobody wants that. So the hope is that we prevail on the appeal, and the Biden administration accepts their loss, their repeated loss on this issue, on the main issues in this case, and does not appeal it. That's the hope. James says, thank you. James says, no sound. I'm sorry that if the sound went in and out, sometimes it does that. But I think I have sound now, or somebody would be texting me saying, you have no sound. I could sing a song for the French listeners out there. I know. Alouette, gentil alouette, alouette, zut bloomeray. I'm waiting for more questions. I'm not just singing for fun. I'm singing because I don't have any questions. And if I don't have questions, I'm going to end early. Does anybody have any immigration questions? Type them in YouTube or Facebook comments now. What is Morrison Urena up to right now? It's a good question. Nobody asked it, but I'm going to pretend like you did. We are gearing up to do quite a few lawsuits for diversity visa 2023 selectees who are stuck in administrative processing. While we don't see Mandamus lawsuits as a viable tool this year for people that do not have interviews, mainly because of our experience in DV 2022 with individual Mandamus lawsuits. I think we filed almost 50 of them, and we got a good feel for what works and doesn't work. And what does work is an AP Mandamus lawsuit. That means if you're a diversity visa selectee, you attended an interview, you were not issued a visa at that interview, you need to be talking to me. or someone on our team, because we can file a lawsuit for that situation. We charge $4,000 for that, $2,000 to start, $2,000 when we file the complaint, which will be in 2 to 3 weeks. But we're only going to offer this opportunity for a matter of days, because it doesn't work if you file it. If you hire us in July and we file it in August, the government has 60 days for their deadline, and that is beyond September 30th. So this is a tool that people that are stuck in AP have right now. But I don't know how many more days we're going to offer it, because it becomes less and less effective with each day that passes. So if you're interested in doing that, make the decision whether you want to do it now. Because if you do it now, it's more likely to work. If you decide to do it later, you're just spending money, and it might not work. It will probably not work the later you do it. And that makes it even worse, right? Like, it's one thing that you didn't get scheduled for, that you got scheduled for an interview, you paid the fees, but then you did a Mandamus lawsuit too late and lost that money too, and then don't get visas. That's not good. So if you're going to do hire an attorney, whether it's us or someone else, for a Mandamus lawsuit for a diversity visa 2023 application that's stuck in administrative processing, do it right now. Okay. I've got that out of my system. Mohammed says, anything on Ahmed versus Naveed? I don't have a lawsuit called Ahmed versus Naveed. Almost all of my lawsuits are a plaintiff name versus Blinken, Secretary Blinken of the Secretary of State, unless we're suing over USCIS process, and then it could be something else. But assuming that you're talking about Naveed versus Blinken, I do not have an update. About half of the plaintiffs, thank you. About half of the plaintiffs have been scheduled for interview and half haven't, and we're waiting for the judge's order on the government's motion to dismiss. Muhammad says, what about the next group lawsuit? Morrison Urena, and that's who I'm making this video for right now, does not have another group lawsuit planned at this moment. If you want to pitch me one, message me. Omer says, in your experiences, was this appeal for wasting time and government make themselves ready because of COVID-19, or there are reasons and they have their rights for this appeal? No, it was not for wasting time or COVID. It wasn't about COVID-19. It had nothing to do with COVID-19. Okay, I'm going to tell you what this appeal is about. Okay, if you look at the statement of issues, when they filed their appeal, they said these are the issues, and there were 6 of them. There was just one that really mattered, and what that was is, does the Secretary of State have the authority to refuse to issue visas because a president has used his authority to exclude entry from a group of individuals? So in other words, just because a president who does have the authority under 212F of the INA says, hey, these people can't enter the U.S., does that mean that the State Department can say, hey, I'm not going to give visas to these people? Under the law, I think it's pretty clear that the State Department can't do that. But they are seeking to expand their authority. They got away with it for a while. I think for years, they got away with this. And we challenged them in 2020 for the first time that I'm aware of. And with whether or not entry ban can be construed as an issuance ban. And they lost, right? And they're not happy about losing. So they're fighting to regain ground, because otherwise they have lost a tool to throttle immigration, which, whether or not the president wants to do that, and to be clear, Biden does want to do it because that's what he's doing. and Trump definitely wanted to do it, and any of the presidential hopefuls, like in the Republican Party, definitely want to do it. But whether or not they want to throttle immigration or not, the bureaucrats that run the State Department are very much invested in that power. You know, that they get off on that. That makes them very happy. So that's kind of the root causes of the appeal, if you're curious. Okay. What is your vision about your experience in the appeal decision? The decision make long time to appear. Okay, I don't speculate about those things I don't know. I don't have a vision, okay? The Messiah did not come to me. I don't know, okay? So I'm not going to speculate. And I wouldn't say it takes you say the decision has taken a long time to appear. An appeals decision on a complicated issue usually does not come fast. So while the delay in the DV 2020 and 2021 processes has been long, let's not blame that on the court, okay? That falls with Secretary Blinken and President Joe Biden. That's who's caused that problem. Layla says, any good news with Naveed versus Blinken? Right. I mentioned before, we don't really have an update on that. Omar says, expect the good luck other cases if we win the appeal. How long will government take to distribute these visas? Expect the good luck other cases. Okay, I don't know. A big part of that's going to be what Judge Mehta and Judge Chutkan's expectations are. It's going to be great that the State Department cannot blame COVID. It's kind of great that as a world, we sort of got COVID under control, although it's not gone, right? But the State Department will blame their understaffing. And I am amazed at how many embassies that service predominantly Black and brown and Muslim people are understaffed right now, while the European embassies are just fine. So I think that the implementation of the orders, if we prevail, will not be as fast as many of you want it to be. But then some of you, it's in your best interest for the orders not to be fast, not to be. Okay, let's go back to DV 2020. There's only 9,095 visas available. Let's say you are in Russia or Ukraine or Afghanistan, and your case is actually assigned to an embassy that's no longer existing. Khartoum, it's a big one. So ideally, those cases have been moved to new embassies, but we don't know that. And they may be moved to an embassy that you don't want to go to. It might be, you may be in another country seeking refuge and you want your interview in that country. So and if you're in one of those situations, you don't want a quick implementation. You kind of want them to do it slower so that you have time to move your interview location to an embassy where that you can get to, right? There's one other reason why, well, there's many reasons, but another reason why you might not want it implemented quickly is if you are one of the people that get false positives on the TB test when you go to your medical exam, because then you're going to need an additional 8 weeks for that sample to get to Spain back or France and back, wherever it goes. And if all the visas are gone while that happens, well, you're out of luck. So if you're in that situation, you don't want the order implemented very quickly. Like the pace of implementation kind of depends on your situation, like what's best for you, right? Naveed, I don't have an update. Okay. Luna says, any news about DV 2020? We have one summary judgment in 2021, while all this time without any response from the Court of Appeals. Well, we didn't have a hearing until September of 2022. Okay. Am I right on that? Yeah. Okay. So it's just necessary to be patient. Okay, that's all there is to it. There's not a contradiction in it. You say that there's a contradiction in it, like, and I don't know what the contradiction is. Appeals take a long time, and so that we're waiting on. I don't see a contradiction there. Okay. Homer says, thanks a lot for your info, and hopefully we'll see the outcomes. Of course, we'll see the outcomes. Okay. Any more questions? Comments? Lamine says, good luck. Make other cases take much longer. I'm just saying. I disagree with that, Lamine. I'm not sure what other cases you're talking. Oh, you're speculating that good luck caused Gomez cases to take longer. I disagree with that, but I can't know what motivated the government to appeal the Gomez order. I don't think it was because of good luck, though. I think it was because they want to retain that interpretation of 212F to where the Secretary of State can suspend a visa issuances when a president suspends entry. That's what I think this is really about. And it wasn't about, oh no, they won good luck, so let's appeal Gomez. I don't think that's what happened. Okay, so thanks everybody. Have a wonderful rest of the week. And I will see you next Wednesday for episode 34 of Let's Talk Immigration.